Hi. You know, Rosa's running a little behind as well. So this is Edna. She's one of our board members here at Seis. She is also a victims advocate for NLRPD. So
And I did a video.
oh, you did. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, perfect. You want to go ahead and start off?
Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming today. My name is Dr. Rex Wilkins. I am the ULR Spanish professor currently, and I have kind of helped select these students to create this internship opportunity with Seis. And I don't want to take too much time. I do want to say thank you all for being here because I do believe this is a great opportunity, as you will hear from them. I am just overwhelmed with gratitude for the hard work and dedication that these students have done, and I hope this will be the first cohort of many cohorts to come through this partnership we have with Seis Puentes to really strengthen the Latino community here in UALR and also in the state of Arkansas. So with that said, I will turn the time over to Raul, and then we will hear from each of the students.
Perfect. Well, I'm so excited. So I'm Raul Fernandez. I'm the executive director here at Seis. Like I was telling y'all earlier, I'll take any questions about Seis specifically at the end, but I definitely want to share their experience here. I'm a graduate from UALR, and I'm a journalism major. So that's where I graduated from, but I got the opportunity to intern at KUAR, which was really exciting for me. And it's amazing how much that journalism degree has helped me with this nonprofit work, because when the journalists come to me and they're like, I need this, I'm like, I know what you need. Like, I can give it to you. Here's the story. So I'm a product of one of those internships. I'm really excited. I was telling Dr. Rex earlier that I keep in pretty much constant contact with a lot of my mentors that I had from UALR and from UCA, so it's just exciting. I definitely don't want any of these interns to lose any of my numbers, and I hope they don't. I hope they call me with whatever they might need. One of the things that Dr. Rex, when we first met, was during a Zoom call, and he kind of ended the call with telling all of the students, he was like, love you guys. And I mean, and Edna knows this, our board member knows this, like saying like love you to people is my love language. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, we're definitely going with gas. Like, this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. So, but Dr. Rex, he's honestly always talks about how, like, in these times, we need kind of a beacon of hope, right? A little bit of light, something to kind of keep us going with, you know, everything that's kind of going on. And honestly, like, these interns for me have been just that. I was telling Rex earlier, it's like so much easier to come into work when I know that I'm going to have, like, these kids to be here with us, right? So I definitely want to tell you interns that you've done an amazing job. You've been able to connect with so much of our friends, our clients here at Seis. You know, you've been able to teach a lot of different departments in our city how to speak Spanish, which is really exciting. You know, you fed the hungry, you've clothed the naked, and you've armed our community with the most powerful skills of all, which is our education and resources. So I hope that you're all really proud of yourselves. You should be really proud of yourselves. Y'all been able to accomplish things that I needed help with, and y'all been able to do them. So I definitely kind of want to say thank you for that. And I'll leave you with, you know, the teacher and the student, and he recognizes the teacher and the student in you guys. So thank you for sharing your magic. I hope you go out and share more magic with other people. And you know, so on behalf of Seis and really just a Puerto Rican boy living in Arkansas, thank you so much for sharing that magic. So without further ado, I'll kind of tell them what y'all did. I'm excited for you guys.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
At the Seis Puentes, the mission is to help marginalized communities in a variety of ways. For all of us here, what we've had the privilege of helping with was so much This is my dream, to open a center that is dedicated to marginalized communities and mental health. Being an intern here at Seis, it helped me feel closer to my community and all of its needs, especially in these uncertain times. I was helping Raul, but really he was helping me to see how important the work is. Everything I do here is a necessity for the Hispanic community, and seeing the way Raul put so much energy into everything he did here inspired me to do the same. My role here at Seis was to teach the North Little Rock Engineering Department Spanish twice a week for an hour. They were so open to learning, and it brought me so much joy seeing North Little Rock engineers wanting to learn about my culture and the language. They initially began the courses so that they could communicate better with their crews, and I think they stayed so that they could understand the Hispanic community a little better. It opened my eyes to see how much the Hispanic community assimilated into the American society, and to be honest, I'm in no way an educator, but with students so willing to learn, it wasn't that hard for them to pick up. It was hopefully as fun for them as it was for me. It was a great learning opportunity. It was so much fun getting them to learn a little bit of my culture, hearing them learn the Spanish, and listening to them perfect the sentence structures, and hearing their stories of how they would speak it at a restaurant or with their crews, and helping them with that feedback to say what they could correct and what they couldn't. Espero que dejé mi huella aquí, aunque fuera pequeña. I hope I left my mark here, even if it was small. Building a communication, a bridge of communication in two very different cultures. Eso es lo que se hace aquí en Seis Puentes. That's what we do here at Seis Puentes. And I want to say how grateful I am for this opportunity, for Yola, for Seis Puentes, and for all of you. For changing the trajectory of my life, for the life of everybody here that I helped, and I can't wait to see what my future holds.
When I was offered this internship at Seis Puentes by Dr. Rex, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I wanted to help. What I didn't realize was just how deeply personal this experience would be for me. Because when I accepted this internship, I wasn't just stepping into any ordinary internship. Instead, I would be stepping into a full circle moment in my life. Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Camacho and I am a Spanish and nursing major. Years ago, I was a little girl who got held back in elementary school, not because I didn't want to learn and not because I didn't try hard enough. Instead, because I had parents who couldn't speak any English, and I had to deal with what I thought at the time were the consequences. Now, years later, I've been able to be the person I once needed for those in my community. During my time at Seis Puentes, I had the privilege of doing work that truly mattered and made a difference in this community. Throughout the internship, I had the opportunity to translate a wide range of materials like flyers, outreach scripts, enrollment paperwork, and class information. I got to work with the executive director who focused on improving maternal health here in Arkansas. She trusted me to translate documents designed to support Hispanic mothers, and I approached her with so much care because it wasn't just about translating the information from English to Spanish. It was about preserving the meaning, the connection, and the emotion. One of the most emotional experiences in this internship for me was being the translator at parent-teacher conferences here at Ridge Road Elementary School, where over 90% of the students are minorities and 44% are Hispanic or Latino. As I walked from door to door asking, "Necesitará un intérprete? Would you like an interpreter?" I watched the parents' faces soften, and I saw the students take a deep breath, relieved that someone could help their parents understand what they couldn't. That moment stayed with me because I used to be that kid. My parents used to be those parents. and now I'm the one helping connect both sides. Twice a week, I also had the opportunity to support ESL classes here at Seis Puentes. I helped develop lesson plans, led parts of the class, and taught topics ranging from vowels to singular nouns, plural nouns, all that grammar stuff. And also, I helped have like mock interviews of like real life situations, whether it was like going to the doctor, going to the bank, or ordering out with a waiter at a restaurant. But what mattered the most to me was being there in the moments in between. When the students needed help expressing a question, a concern, or even just a thought that they didn't have the words for. Sometimes I was the only person in the room who could help them understand both sides and help them connect with one another. That's when I realized that being bilingual isn't just about being able to speak two languages. It's about building bridges, and it's about building understanding. And honestly, it feels like a superpower that I'm very privileged and very blessed to have. I also worked with Arkansas Baptist College, translating materials, recruiting students, and helping organize an open house event. I made phone calls to students who had stopped attending classes, and I was able to use my superpower to encourage them to come back, to keep learning, and to believe in themselves. Those conversations weren't just meant for me to check up on them. It was an opportunity for me to remind them that they were seen, they were missed, and that they mattered. One moment I'll never forget was delivering some groceries to a mother in need. It was such a small gesture, but yet had such a powerful impact. Seeing her gratitude reminded me how important this work is and how blessed I am to be part of an organization like Seis Puentes. Every hour I spent translating, teaching, or connecting, and it was an opportunity for me to dejar mi huella dentro de mi comunidad, which means it was an opportunity for me to leave a mark within my community. And I'm very proud of the mark that I've left. To Dr. Rex, thank you for offering me this opportunity and believing in my potential. To Raul, gracias for being a guide, a mentor, and the steady support I needed from beginning to end. And to everyone else that is here today, thank you so much for being here. And if there's one thing I want us to never forget, is that dejando nuestra huella means that no one ever will have to walk alone. Muchas gracias.
I'm a nursing major, Spanish minor at UA Little Rock. I was approached by Dr. Rex about this internship, and initially I was hesitant. I didn't grow up Spanish like the other interns. I'm Filipina, not Latina. I work at Arkansas Children's Hospital, and I work with many Filipinos, and with the growing number of Spanish speakers in Arkansas, I know that I'm going to need as much Spanish as I can get to take care of the people around me. Spanish and Tagalog aren't that different. Many of our words sound almost the same in both languages, like our numbers and days of the week. ¿Cómo está po? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? One thing that Raul has taught us interns was that to be a part of Seis Puentes, you don't have to be fluent in Spanish. You only have to be fluent in kindness. So much of human connection is nonverbal. It's our tone, our disposition, and the energy we bring to this table. Spanish I'm learning, but kindness I know well. While interning here at Seis Puentes, I was able to be a part of the free English classes, translate documents, celebrate a culture similar but different from my own upbringing, practice my Spanish, but also learn other valuable professional development skills. I worked on social media campaigns, creating graphics, videos, and taking photos to help tell the story of Seis Puentes. I learned a lot about the ins and outs of working at a nonprofit. I learned about nonprofit budgeting, sat in on board of director meetings, how to properly run volunteer efforts, and I helped coordinate a food drive that provided groceries for 110 families, and even got to serve 250 of the North Little Rock senior citizens community. I did not know how much work goes into the behind the scenes of putting on food distribution like that. My favorite part of interning at Seis Puentes was being behind the scenes, creating videos and celebrating everyone's hard work. And I'd like to share with you, and you'll understand this little QR code that says Internet, and it'll have a video that we can watch. And in the video, we have the food teaching Spanish to the North Little Rock engineers and one of her students that learned Spanish. And then we'll also have the little painting workshop with Miss Jenny doing pastel paintings. And then finally we have feeding North Little Rock senior citizens. And that's just a few of the things that I'd like to share with y'all that we've done in this internship thus far. Let's finish. And the skills that I've learned at Seis Puentes will benefit me in the future by preparing me to handle real world challenges and collaborate effectively in any work environment. Because we didn't just work with the same people in the same place. I got to meet a ton of different people from different backgrounds, cultures, and places, while participating in the ESL classes, food drives, and connecting with the community here. I would definitely recommend this internship site to anyone who wants to be a part of something passionate, because it offers meaningful work, and Raul has been such a supportive mentor and has given us opportunities to grow both personally and professionally. I might have walked into this internship nervous, but I'm leaving this internship confident in my ability to serve any community. And thank you all for being here today, and especially thank you to Dr. Rex and Raul for giving me support and encouragement during this internship. And I really appreciate the opportunity to show you all the great work that I got to be a part of this semester.
When I first started this internship, I didn't know how many people I would know, how deep I would connect with some of these people. From day one, I hit the ground running, matching a fast pace in the energy of Seis Puentes. My name is Dakota Lucero, and I'm a Spanish major and criminal justice major. We did a lot of teaching, translating, volunteering. I want to focus on something that meant a little more to me, and that was the youth mentoring. Welcome. The youth mentoring. There were two boys, Jose and Joaquin, and they reminded me of me and my brother when we were younger. Jose was more like me, quiet, thoughtful, full of imagination. And there was Joaquin, the opposite, the loud one, full of energy. And when he walked in, you knew he was there. Como mi hermano. When I was their age, I struggled in school. I didn't always feel seen, understood, or valued. So being able to work with these boys, to support them and encourage them was full circle. I wanted to be the person for them that I didn't have. The person who listened to me, who made me feel valued, and who I knew always supported me in every action I did. As the weeks went on, they started to ask me if they could read to me. Something small, simple, but for me it was so meaningful. It showed me how much they trusted me, how they could be vulnerable with me in the moment, and the mistakes were okay. This taught me that being a mentor isn't always about having all the answers, but it's about creating a space to believe in someone until they can believe in themselves. Working along all these amazing people like Dr. Rex, all my fellow interns in Raleigh, and everyone else on the board, and all the volunteering events we did, showed me that making a difference isn't the same for everybody. There's 100 different ways to make your difference, to leave your mark. It could be a quiet conversation, a little fun laughter moment, or just sitting in a room with somebody. There's no right way to leave your mark. And what really matters is your openness and your willingness to connect with other people. Like I said, leaving your mark isn't about the grand gestures. It's about the small things too. Sometimes you just want to make someone feel like they matter, and that's what it meant for me. I want to thank you to everybody who's come here, who made this internship possible, and who came to this meeting to allow us to share our own stories. I want to thank Jose and Joaquin for showing me why this matters and for giving me this full circle moment. I'll always carry this with me in my heart and in my soul. And I hope that we can all leave our marks just how they have left their marks from that.
I want to say first of all how the university, when it first started to emerge in the Middle Ages in Europe, was not actually to teach people how to read and write and count. Those things were already done by tutors and by people who had the means and necessary power to make knowledge available to them. The purpose of the university, when it was originally conceived in the early 1100s, was to create a network and fraternity of like-minded individuals who wanted to make change through education. I think we need to return to that idea if we are going to survive this age and the age of artificial intelligence. These students have taken what they've learned in their courses and in their classroom teaching, and they are applying it in ways that ChatGPT cannot imitate. They are connecting with people. Now I know we're in the Bible Belt, and I am religious, and so I hope that you will forgive my intrusion into Christianity here, but in the book of Acts, it talks about the gift of tongues being given at the Feast of Pentecost. Why was the gift of tongues given at the Feast of Pentecost? Well, there's a lot of different interpretations about it. But what I believe as a professor of languages is that the gift of tongues is essentially this: the ability to understand others and to be understood. These 4 kids, and they're not kids, they're adults, have the gift of tongues. They are miracles. They are working miracles in people's lives. And we need that now. And I am just ever so proud of the kind of work that they're doing. They are trying to understand others, and I hope today that they've been understood. Thank you.
Well, I want to introduce Rosa too. She's on our board, Rosa Perez. And Rosa, do y'all want to say anything about Seis Puentes? Yeah, look, I'm putting y'all on the spot. and Rosa really loves when I do this.
Well, I just want to say that Seis Puentes does a lot for the community, not just the Hispanic community, but reaching out really good with minorities. It's made tremendous contributions to North Little Rock, and not just North Little Rock and surroundings. We're so grateful for we can get support and our partnerships that can help us strengthen, give all some support so we can continue the daily operations. And as board members, we do look forward to helping out as much as we can by being present, and then you should be very present and all that Seis Puentes is doing, because that's what's going to help us be stronger and make us reach further. So thank you so much for collaborating with us, and I don't know if Anna has anything she wants to add.
Not about Seis Puentes, you already know how great we are. But I would say it's really hard for me. What's the wrong choice of word? I'm very emotional. I'm very emotional with when you guys share. And that's where this goes. Because I grew up like you guys. We moved to the US when I was very little. I'm still little, but you know. I was 11, and this was back in the 90s. You guys were not born in the 90s. And there was no English as a second language back then. And coming from Michoacan, Mexico, we had never visited any other state. And having to be, I was the oldest of 3, having somebody learn the language to assist your family. Of course, my dad had been here for a while, and he knew English, but he had to work. So when we came, he had to leave me. And I remember so vividly going to the doctor with my grandmother, who was very mindset de la matriz. And I just stood there, so how do I do this? How do I interpret this? And I remember hearing the word matriz before, so it's like, well, she was diagnosed with cancer in her mattress. And the doctor was like, huh, okay. Can you ask her to kind of pull in her body for that is? And years later, you know, it's like, God, we have to do so much, we have to learn so much. And I made it a point, just like you guys, to serve our community, to not to ignore the struggles we went through, and then when we finally make it to where we want to be, forget about everything else. Always try to be more to the community, and I'm really excited for you guys for, you know, trying to do that just for the community. With you, I'm still thinking, you and I are supposed to meet, but
Next week.
that's how we do it. Next week, but then, I mean, I don't know, it was just so emotional. I never get emotional and cry, but I was about to cry. I wanted to walk out, because I got so emotional just hearing all of you. And I really want to thank you, and I want to thank Dr. Rex for reaching out. When he reached out, I was like, you know, yep, probably. we can really bring this to Seis Puentes, and I'm glad that was a choice that I made, and I'm glad that we connected.
This has been miraculous, like I said.
And I'm really glad y'all connected, so.
Well, we were connected through another
Yeah.
person, so.
Well, do y'all have any questions or anything about Seis Puentes? Anything you want to know? Do you want to ask them any questions? You can ask them questions too. Does anyone have anything?
I just wanna say, I think that I missed the first part, I was making some little gifts because.
Do not excuse yourself.
We're always talking about how wonderful y'all have been, and I just wanna thank y'all for the initiative, not just for being here, but being here with purpose. I'm working banking, I've been working in banking for 12 years, and we always have a shortage of bilingual or, you know, people who are just at that capacity and we want to serve. So it means a lot to me what you guys do, that you're here, and that you're here with purpose, and hopefully we can be mirrors to others, so we can have, more bilinguals in the workforce. Sometimes we assume that because of technology, people should be able to figure their stuff out, they should be able to know how to do immigration paperwork, they should know how to do this and that, and it's just like, at the end of the day, when you come here, it's a whole new place, and just because your parents made a way, you know, they made a way for you, doesn't mean that these people have their way made, they have to figure it out. So yeah, sometimes I do get mad when people are like, oh, you know, we all struggle. But I'm here putting in the work to tell people, hey, you know, I made it, you can too. But we need a lot of the youth to have that, not lose that connection, not lose that heart of purpose, because we're always gonna need somebody. And we can't let technology, we can't let ChatGPT detach us from that. This is why we're here. This is why Seis Puentes exists. This is why what we do matters, because there's always gonna be a need for that human, and there's always gonna be a need for that communication that makes a whole difference. So that's just what I wanted to add, since I missed the first part.
I would just add, I admire people that do internships. I did one when I was in school, and the thing I remember is I was never as good a worker or as good a student as I thought I could have been, because you're trying to juggle multiple things and throw in trying to have a personal life and looking at some financial dynamics. There were times when I thought, maybe I overextended myself, but I can share with you just at least one example. It really helped me later, because it gave me a leg up in the employment world from the people that just went to school. That's all they did, and that's a good thing. But being able to say, I also did this internship, it caught people's attention and helped me get started. So I respect all the time you put into this, because it's not lost on me. It can be a challenge. So thank all for it.
And can I ask,
why you at the rock? How did y'all decide on? Why you at the rock?
So for me, I transferred because I went to coding before, and they didn't have all the resources I needed for my degree. Being a criminal justice major, in Seis there's not a lot of stuff I can do, but in Little Rock, we have the Capitol building, we have all of the capital things here in the city that we can just extend. So I figured I can go here and then I can go from there and branch out. So that's my reason.
My reason,
Yes.
my mom, when she came over here from the Philippines, after a couple of years, she went to UA Little Rock, and she also did nursing, and now she's a nurse over at the VA. And I also chose it because it's my home, it's close to me, and it's given me a ton of opportunities.
And for me, I actually transferred from Arkansas Tech in Bristol. Like a freshman, just fresh out of high school, I wanted to live in a dorm, get that college experience. But like by the end of the first semester, I was like, oh wow, I miss my brothers, I miss my sister, I miss my parents, and I transferred to UAR, and I'm very happy here.
I'm a very untraditional student. I quit school a year into it after high school, and then I came back to college because I was like, well, I don't want to be a preschool teacher forever. And I went to UACCM, and UACCM has a 2+2 program with UALR, and I took advantage of that. Got the scholarship that we have connected with that, and
Very cool. I'm a graduate student, and I'm religious and will leave home, so. Yeah, not literally. Thank you for sharing.
I will add why UA Little Rock, and I think for each one of them, it's about connection, about family. Something that I see from my perspective as a new faculty member is I hope that we can find ways to truly reach out to the Latino community here so that they know that this is a family school. This is a school for parents, for kids, and for future generations of Arkansans. Because that's what's going to keep UA Little Rock important in the hearts of many people here in this state.
I just have a quick question. I've asked Rex about this before this started. I can appreciate where folks have a concern with an organization like this, with like ICE showing up. What can you share with us about that as a phenomenon the times we live in now impacts your lives?
It's most important to me that you know your rights, that you don't have to open the door, you don't have to really say anything to them. You can just write on a piece of paper, slide it under the door, or crack the door and pass it through, and tell them that you don't get to come in here just because you want to. That I have my own rights just like you do, and that's very important. And spreading that knowledge to the people who don't know, we can help save our community and strengthen our connections more so.
And then for me, I'm the oldest in my family, and I guess it's like natural that my parents, like all my family are like, hey, like what do I do if this happens? And like Dakota said, when all this started happening, I like printed out some like cards and like laminated them and passed them around my church. That way, they felt a little more protected and weren't like caught with not knowing what to do if anything were to happen or is to happen.
for me, as for everybody else, when everything started, we wanted to spread information of how we can protect ourselves and protect our community. But also that they feel safe in places like a church. And I
I say like with politics, right? Because what we do is humanitarian work, and like that at the end of the day is the most important thing to me. We're doing the right thing, we're doing the good thing. But we did go into some of the schools where drug, like she was talking about, it's 44% Hispanic. So, and I think, over 60% of those students weren't showing up to school, the Latino students, after the election, which was mind blowing to me. That these kids didn't feel safe enough to go to school, that their parents didn't want to send them to school. And I get it, you know what I mean? So we did some voter rights workshops with some immigration lawyers, some immigration attorneys. We did that, and even here, like, it's not that they don't want to come to class, it's that they don't want to get in the car, they don't want to get pulled over on the way to class. So I think from an organizational standpoint, one of the things that we're trying to do is actually, we'll go to you. You know what I mean? You can call us, you can text us, send us a Facebook message. If you need groceries, because you're not going to work, because you're scared to go to work, like, we'll take them to you. But one of the things that I always try to remember, or to remind folks, the easiest one is, when those tornadoes hit us here in North Little Rock, you look up on the roofs and it's brown folks putting roofs back on our heads. You know what I mean? So our community is such an integral part of the community at large, and we have to take care of the people that take care of us. You know what I mean? So I think from an organizational standpoint, we're trying to figure it all out, but nothing's going to stop us from just doing the work.
I will also add, Raul said something to me a couple months ago that has stuck with me since. These students have service hearts. And I agree with him 200%. We need more of them. This is the first cohort, but we're going to have more. I'm going to find these students.
Well, and to add to this, I mean, you mentioned, and the students mentioned too, that the work that you've been doing, not just the sort of concrete work of service that you've been doing, but the translation work and the teaching work that you've been doing, right? That's work of community building. That's work of building bridges, right, and reaching out to help. And I think that it's not an accident, right, that in addition to studying Spanish, that you're also each studying a field that is a helping field, right, a community-oriented field. I think that's something that we see as a pattern in students in our Spanish programs, right, is that their other academic interests are very much service-oriented. And that's definitely something that we need more of, and that we can and will build on, for sure.
There are so many of our students who I think have that servant's heart. We just need to go and find them.
Is there a limit in terms of, the 4-year year? I mean, what's the scope of the program in terms of what you can work with, what you can utilize?
So I want to make sure that we maintain good relationships with our partners, with Seis, Puentes, and with the North Little Rock Police Department, and hopefully expand to other organizations in the future. The best problem that would exist is if we have too many students, we don't know where to put them. That would be the best problem, because then I could say, Raul, how are you feeling about having 10 students this coming semester? I would love to have that difficult conversation all on my own, right? But I would also love to find new opportunities, and as time goes on and as this program grows, it would show that it's not just simply, oh, we're teaching language, right? No, we're connecting with our community. We're figuring out a way to be a complementary program to the nursing program, to the law enforcement program, to business, to the law school, to every other facet that is connected with UALR, and we become distinguished in an area where we all For example, both Jennifer and Luis are nursing students, and I've talked to them about this before, and I said, what can we do to differentiate our nursing students from UCA students and from UAMS students? We bring out the ones that have double majors in Spanish. That is a feather in their cap that they can hold on to, that they can go and they can get. I would love for them to go get master's degrees in nursing, because they are competitive in that market, and they would know, and they would have a connection to their community. You know, that's how we make our program the one that, like, oh yeah, we've got to go do this one.
One of the things, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One of the other things that I really wanted to focus on, and I was talking about earlier, that I'm a product of these internships, and I really wanted to focus with them on like professional development as well. Of course, like they know Spanish, we're sitting there, we're doing the Spanish stuff, but like yesterday, like even for this, you know, I wanted them to talk about talking points. I wanted them to know what it's like to present to folks. I wanted them to know about meeting minutes. I wanted them to know about nonprofit board meetings. I want them to know what it takes to coordinate a food drive, because it looks like an hour of fun. Lugging the 100 gallons of milk in your car that's spilled everywhere. So I really wanted them to work on those professional development things. That's what I tell them, you know, kind of that lens of Spanish, putting the lens of Spanish on anything they do. Like these kids, these young adults, they're gonna go out there and they're gonna go serve not only their communities, our communities, but the community at large, and they're gonna be able to do that because they know Spanish. So that's one of the things that I really told them, like, your Spanish is your superpower, and when we go into airports or we're in grocery stores and we know Spanish, you use it. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be a lady at the ticket counter that cannot speak English, and you're like, I got you. Like, don't worry about this, I can, easy peasy, like, we'll figure this out together. So, I'm excited for them to kind of have that feather in their cap, but just to be able to do anything they do with that bilingual lens.
You guys have a rough idea, I get what you're saying, my question is more a little while. Do you have a rough idea of what the percentage is of Hispanic folks in this community?
So usually, like in North Little Rock or Pulaski County, those numbers are always going to look lower, right? Because we're not going to report as high. But what is it in North Little Rock? I think it's around 12. Or no, it's a little lower than 12, but we think it's higher than 12, right? I know that in the North Little Rock School District, total North Little Rock School District, 12% identify as Latino or Hispanic, and then I think it's 8% that identifies English learners. So on here, if you want to know a little bit about Seis, if you scan the second one that says overview, it'll give you some statistics on there. And these other two are kind of other things that we do. But those numbers always look a little lower because they're not going to report, they're not going to self-report that high. We don't have to talk to folks about that.
My best guesstimation would be about 20% of Pulaski County. So about a fifth of the population is Latino or Hispanic identifying in some way, shape, or form. And thank you to Dean Estes for coming today. It was great to see you as well. I know that we didn't get to have you come earlier, but we do sincerely appreciate the time you take to be here today.
Well, I am sorry that I did not get to hear the first part of this, but honestly, it probably would have destroyed me. It's hard for me to speak right now, so I won't. I don't know how to express, and I'm trying to do it. Yeah, I know. Let me
I'm
get
a big sap too. I was crying a little too.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate so much, all this whole team in the Dean's office and Dr. Wilkins, your partnership in this, and Derek, you raised this money, thank you. But to see you all here, and I don't know if you remember, we've met.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
But to see you all here, and hello. And to just hear about the opportunity that is being provided in the space, and to hear about, service, so important. I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't, help me, Katie. Help me, somebody help me. I can't express, obviously, so you're seeing this. I'm thrilled about the partnership that y'all have forged here, and that you all are here, building it with them. And I agree with you about the future and what's happening here and what can continue to happen. And Kevin asked me this question of where's the limit, and I think there is no limit. And I appreciate your vision and your dedication. Just thanks everybody for what you're doing here. It's a really big deal.
I have just one last question, perhaps. What surprised you about your internship? Was there something you went, I can see that coming, and something that will stick with you that you thought, I have a relatively good idea of what this is going to be, but there was something else? Is there something that, like is in your heart that you didn't anticipate that's been like a quality surprise?
The thing that surprised me the most was, well, first of all, I knew I would be helping in English classes, helping people that only speak Spanish or English. But I envisioned myself getting a folder, a lesson plan, and here you go, teach it. I was a little scared because I'm not really good at talking to a lot of people I don't know. But when I got here, everyone was so welcoming. I did not just get the binder and they were just what I did was getting the whiteboard, helping them write stuff. And the thing that helped me the most was not knowing all the answers. Sometimes I was Lewis, what is this? Or Dakota, what is this? And I don't know, I just have I had a really good experience. And I also like the fact that it wasn't just helping out here in this building, it was about going out to the community and serving people. So yeah.
Yeah, bouncing off that. For me, something that stood out was doing the senior citizen lunch thing. I knew we were a nonprofit. I knew we helped the community, but I didn't expect to go out to different communities and help other people. Serving people lunch is a small thing that we don't really think about, but to all the people that I helped serve, I just saw all the joy and the happiness and the gratitude that they felt for the food I just scooped on their plate, the banana pudding.
I guess for me, it would be the role has given me more of an opportunity to get into a little bit more marketing and do those little video campaigns, just showcasing all the good work that we've done. And it's just been so heartwarming seeing all the people that we've been able to help with it.
For me, I'll be honest, I was excited for day one. Rome can attest to that. Helping my community was probably one of the things that will always be a number one priority for me. And hearing that Rex gave me this opportunity, I was like, yes, what can I do? And I was tasked with something, I guess, kind of big, but in a way, I didn't get to do as much as them. I'm kind of jealous. It was.
We have volunteer opportunities all the time.
That's awesome. There's plenty of stuff for you to do, yeah.
Sign me up. It was obviously helping the North Little Rock engineering department, and we would sometimes call these crews and try and figure out what they were saying, and I would try and help these two guys just figure out what was the best way to communicate with them. And it was exciting to me. I wanted to help. So I guess it wasn't much of a surprise that I would get so much out of this, but that I want more. I want to help and
one of the things too is like a lot of folks don't realize is like my parents are Puerto Rican and moved here in 1978. Our experience is not like the experience of most of the folks that come through the door here, right? And I think a lot of people don't realize the diversity in our culture and our language. Like there are so many. I go back to Puerto Rico and I'm saying Mexican words and my family's losing it. They're like, what has happened to you? But a lot of that comes from hanging out. Like I get to learn, about the diversity within my own culture too. And one of the things that I was probably most surprised about with the internship is just, I didn't expect to get 4 interns who would be so excited. You know what I mean? I get really excited about this kind of stuff. I can talk about Seis Puentes forever. Those two know that. I love what I do and it's exciting. But, one of the things as someone in leadership, if I get to get other people excited about what I do, I'm done. Like my job's done. You know what I mean? And I know that all 4 of them are walking out these doors enthusiastic about taking care of the people around them. So I'll give myself a help. Excited.
But I do have a question for you, Porter. When you were told you had the opportunity for this internship and you accepted, what do you think it was going to be like? Did you have any idea what it would be?
I knew I would be helping the Hispanic community, and I did not picture I would be doing all this. Like Dakota said, like serving people, food drives, making stuff to go donate and teaching. Like I did not expect that, and I never would have imagined myself doing all of this. And like Natalie says, this isn't over. We still have a couple more days left, but I just want more of it, and I'm gonna miss like having the opportunity to come here weekly and help out with the classes. That's something I'm gonna miss.
I mean, you don't have to stop.
Oh.
You already got an A in my class, so you're good.
I didn't expect my experience either, but I was gay from the beginning, so I was open to any experience, and I was glad I got the one I did, and I'm hoping for even more experiences.
For me, I've been in the workforce for a little bit. I've had some bad employers, so I was a little hesitant to see how the non-profit sphere looks. What's my ambition? And meeting Raul for the first time, I knew that this was going to be a great experience. I knew from the moment I walked in, we said hi, we came, sat down, we talked, we chatted. They were like, "Oh yeah, what are we going to do for the internship?" We just talked about us. And so I didn't expect that. I was expecting to come in, the job, come in, clock out, how was your day? But I did a lot more than that.
I didn't expect all the connections I would build and meet all the people, because I thought we would just translate documents and just help out with classes here. But we've been doing food drives and with the Little Rock Senior Citizens, and he's even had us deliver food boxes to the Sherman Community Center, and I did not expect him to do any of that.
I love this word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys had this. And hopefully, you don't want to continue here, or you can't be here, you find somewhere else you can.
My madness behind how I thought of this was choose your own adventure. I think I even used that word when I advised y'all, right? I was like, I want this to be something that you are excited about. There's so many internships where it's like, oh, go get us coffee, go do faxes, go. It's like, okay, cool. But why not do something where you get to feel like you're taking initiative, you're taking control, and that empowers them. that it gives them the opportunity to say, hey, I am making a difference, and I am doing it on my terms. Because we need to empower students at a very early age to say, yeah, you can do this. Again, I'm just so glad that they took that initiative, because I trust them and I trust these students.
When do we get to clap? We need clapping!
I want to get some photos with y'all if that's okay. Let's do it in front of this building bridges thing. We'll do it over there. And we recorded the whole thing so we can send it to you.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, thank
So,
goodness. That's
yes.
fantastic. I'd also like to get a photo. See, did you guys
Here.
No, no, no.
I want one for.
You are good. And you have skills. Sadie's gonna say this. She was like,
You walk in, you know what we do. So,
Do it.